Hi, hello. It is I. I don't know what we're doing today. Oh, I didn't put OJL in the title. Um, Today's number is 2,340. If you're curious, but instead of iced coffee, it's Oracle juice. Am I gonna put it? Yeah, I'll put it in the title. Why not? Why not? So when OJL is an Oracle Juice Live is typically an alcoholic beverage. So if you're not down with that, then this isn't the one for you. You know what I mean? And that's fine. I've been wanting to pull cards and get a new message or a different message. Just not necessarily lean so heavily into a lot of the things that have been coming up lately or that have come up before, right? Now, if something new comes up with a difference, like, and by new, it's mostly like, this is my card for this. This symbolized this one time. This is what it's come to mean. I feel like I'm like slightly choppy. Um, Sorry. Yeah, like that. Now, if it fits into a context, then that's one thing. I'm not necessarily going to force it to not be whatever it is. Um, so, what I'm going to do is hopefully this is enough light. It's getting warm, too warm for my liking. Excuse me. I'm going to have Google roll a d4. Oh, I forgot this was plugged up for a second. I'm going to have Google roll a d4 and also flip a coin. Um, and it's the same yes no format. H is yes, T is no. The question is, do we do like the all new or the however it comes out? Right. So H would be all new, T is however it comes out. The number between 1 and 4 will be the sort of cards that I go for. And yeah, I'm not gonna well, I was gonna say I'm not gonna fix the blur today, but I might as well get it like set up just in case, I guess. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I don't have any cards yet because I just don't. And then we'll see what's up. Excuse me. There we go. Oof. I don't know. The vibes are interesting. It feels partially like it's go time. It's kind of been feeling like that. I guess I'll take a minute. So this year has been interesting, and that I've spent so much of it. I've spent more time, probably until like November, maybe. I'll have spent more time outside the US than inside. But in addition to that, it's been, at first it was nice, and then it was a little rough, and then it was a lot of stuff that I was like learning and realizing. And then it was like really contextualizing a lot of things. Came back, it was about integrating into further contextualization. And now it's like in practice, things are sort of like cementing and changing more substantially, you could say. And because of like everything that I like learned and contextualized. So, but now it feels like it's a time of some kind of movement. But I've been like obsessed with this book series, audio book series. I'm on like the seventh book. I don't think I'm necessarily halfway through it yet, but there's only 12, and I just started when I came back so about a month ago. Um, but I haven't. I feel like had the time. I haven't taken the time to like really be present with myself enough to. I like the word consolidate. enough to consolidate everything with where it is that I am going or heading next. So that's where I've been. I was gonna come live a few times, but I don't know. All right, let's just get to it. So I'm actually gonna flip the coin first. I wish I could like have Google read what happened to. I mean, maybe Bixby would. Excuse me. I feel like Google hasn't necessarily been doing it for a while. Hey Google, flip a coin, please. Oh, oh look, it's this now. Now it's a bird. What happened to the three wands? A bird. Okay. Hey Google, roll a d4. Number one. Remember when Google wasn't even doing that and I had to be like, pick a random number? Okay. So we're going to continue along the same sort of thread that we've been on. I'm going to choose a deck. Give me one moment. As I could use the four cams, but I don't necessarily want to do that. I did kind of want to do a death dungeon challenge. Kind of, sorta. And I forget how. Oh, the Places Oracle. Okay. I have these. I don't want to use these though. What is this? What is this? The Crow Tarot? There was a bird on the coin, right? So yeah, we'll use this. The Crow Tarot. Who are you? Oh, there you are. Not that I necessarily need it. Oh, and I have my dice. Like the physical dice. Which I could roll, honestly. But sure, we'll start here. We'll start here. So I have the Places Oracle. The Astral Matrix Tarot is out. Probably not going to use it. Um, the Crow Tarot that actually came with like um, this like felt pouch, which feels really nice. I would say it's like a velvet maybe, and it came with a crystal and like a little journal thing. I've never even like it's still in the whatever this is bubble wrap. I don't even know what kind of crystal it is. I assume it's an amethyst because I've never like unwrapped it. And like this little notebook journaling thing that I'm sure is unused. Oh, actually, it isn't unused. Aquarius, Taurus, Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini. So probably another series of readings I started and didn't finish. Because they all have titles, and if it were like an another one, it would have been timestamps. This was What was this? I thought this was like rune readings. I thought these were the Lafruma ones. Because Taurus don't go waving that sword around. Pisces, both the sculpture and the sculptor. Sculptor and the sculpture. Sagittarius, it's all you. Aquarius, there's something in the thaw. I think that was the I guess I could check really quick. I could check. I could see. He should be asleep. 1 second. It was 5:55. Should I check really quick? I'm gonna look really quick. I think it was um the Lafruma series. Like, yeah, Pisces, Aquarius, Taurus, Sagittarius. Oops. So in the Lafruma soft launch, it's in that playlist. What is this? Bound by the fire, freed by the fire. The nine realms spread. Anyway, that's all that's in here. See? I didn't think I had this deck, but I guess I did. That was like, because I did a series of raw rune. I started a series of raw rune readings. And then when I actually got the print version, that's when I did that series. And it was 13, 12 signs plus 9 realms spread. Interesting. Because I used the raw runes last time I was live, didn't I? And I still don't like, I have ideas to do stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily executed that how I planned. Because it was supposed to be like, whatever. I don't often use this, but there was the bird on the coin, so. Oh, it focused by itself. Ten of swords, four of swords. Hold up. The Hierophant just turned over. And it's interesting because the Hierophant came out in the Wild Unknown Tarot recently. And in the Wild Unknown Tarot, it's a crow with a key. And here we see 3 crows and a key. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Wands. Almost giving a chariot like energy because of the 2 lions. cool. I guess I'll take that as a confirmation. The crow with the key. I guess I'll timestamp when I actually start. If I start to sweat, as if I'm not already starting to glisten, know that it's warm. But I'm sure that's a conclusion that you could have reached, regardless. Let's see. Cemetery. Memories laid to rest, legacies preserved. Interesting. That's where I go walking. I've been walking I hit a 28-day streak today. So this tells was however it comes out. So I don't necessarily have to force a non-connection. I don't have to force one either. That wasn't the point. Oh, the arcade. Okay. I feel like the arcade is one that comes out fairly often. Virtual worlds connected. Press play. And lake, reflective shores, tranquility awaits. That's making me think of Ananias, Angel of Storms. In life, they were acolytes. In death, they were their own men. I don't know if I'm going to use this deck yet, so I'm not going to shuffle it up. But I do know that we're going to get one of these. I guess. Maybe. Mayhaps. Come on, that's fine. We don't have to force the lid on this. Ace of Wands. What is this for? Great question. Think I have an answer? If you think I have an answer, then you maybe know. Six of Wands. The bird did still have the laurels. So there is still that Six of Wands world card accomplishment. I almost want to say transfiguration for some reason. Energy. I could just turn the light on. But I'd rather be as comfortable as I can be. Two cards left. The Hierophant and the Fool. We see the Hierophant again. Actually, we saw the Fool recently, didn't we? I don't know if it's still in that same vein in particular, which is the vein of the one who got their wings. Something interesting that's, I guess that's personal. I should pace myself. I ain't really been I ain't really been drinking. Okay. 20 minutes. I'll say card shuffled at 2020. Intro 0000. Cards shuffled 20, maybe closer to 30. Excuse me. Cool. So I want to get the deck dungeon challenge first. I have this roughly split into two piles. The left will be a challenge overcome. I want to say like a global challenge. Let's not go necessarily that far. How am I going to do this? I have the Crow Tarot, the Places Oracle. Actually, so I'm going to shuffle these, and then I'll probably pull off the top like I did last time. Page of Coins and the Page of Swords at the cut. There's something on these, because if I can, you see the clouds moving in the Page of Swords and the coin spinning in the Page of Coins. I see it like this, where the Page of Swords is looking at the Page of Coins, and the Page of Coins is almost looking at the seed and what has grown. And what's interesting is the clouds are still in the Page of Coins as the coin rotates, but they're moving in the Page of Swords, and the page is still. And the sword, I guess you could say, the sword in the hand is still. And a cut. These go face down over here to the left. And then I'll shuffle the right one as well. Queen of Cups and the Hermit. Queen of Cups, Cardinal Water, Cancer. The Hermit is Virgo. In between Cancer and Virgo is Leo, but Cancer does. Ooh, interesting. Cancer does sextile Virgo. And I guess if you take a hermit crab, then the hermit crab and the hermit aren't too. That didn't go down the wrong pipe, but a card came out face down, and it's the King of Coins. Another king we've been seeing a lot lately. You can see the glare. I should have got anti-glare, I guess. The King of Coins holds, I guess we've seen this in more than just the Emperor. It holds the sort of scepter, and the coin still spins in its right hand. I guess I will read. Actually, my phone was like about to die. That's why I haven't charged it. I don't know why. When I said my phone was about to die, Nos Moritamus Salutamus We who are about to die salute you, is what the gladiators would say to the emperor when they were in the Colosseum. Nos moritori? Nos moritori te salutamus. Nos moritori te salutamus is a Latin phrase meaning we who are about to die salute you. It is famously associated with Roman gladiators who are said to have uttered the phrase to the emperor before entering the arena. The phrase is a statement of both their impending fate and their formal greeting to the ruler. Okay. Sure, whatever. I didn't know we was going back to Latin. I'm just going to open up the PDF reader and the PDF book for the Fable Makers Animated Tarot. Excuse me. So that I can read the deck dungeon challenges. I know he is the sage of the Archmage of Earth. Bookmarks. I thought I made them. My bookmarks did not say, but that's fine. I'm already here. The Archmage of Coins, Archmage of Earth, King of Coins, relaxes on his throne. He is gracious and kind. He offers to magically provide each creature who visits him one mundane item each. If the item is too large to fit in the room, it is waiting for them outside the demiplane when they exit the deck. All items given by the king are of the finest quality. If he notices a creature displaying excellent leadership capabilities during their encounter, he offers a manual of gainful exercise and encourages them to only use their strength to take care of others. The door in the king's room is unlocked. So, one mundane item magically gifted. If it's too large to fit in the room, it is waiting for them outside the demiplane when they exit the deck or like the challenges. All items given are of the finest quality, and if he notices a creature displaying excellent leadership abilities during the encounter, he offers a manual of gainful exercise, encouraging them to only use their strength to take care of others. I guess strength as a theme is interesting because we saw the Queen of Wands with 2 lions. If we think of the card of strength, it's the Lady and the Lion. I guess I'll have to use this. Now I'm going to look up the Tome of Gainful Exercise. Tome of Gainful Exercise. 5E. Cost? What do you mean cost? Is it manual? Manual of Gainful Exercise. Sorry. This book describes fitness exercises, and its words are charged with magic. If you spend 48 hours over a period of 6 days or fewer studying the book's contents and practicing its guidelines, your strength score increases by 2, as does your maximum for that score. The manual then loses its magic but regains it in a century. Now, I could look before and after the strength card, but I want to look before and after the strength card in a deck that I'm not using. So now we'll go to the actual Matrix Tarot. As it is, or am I going to shuffle it? I'll shuffle it. The thing that catches me with this tome or manual in particular, first, it's a manual and not a tome. Like the Tome of Understanding was a tome. And I think the King of Swords just flipped over. Am I going to put you back? I'll put it back. Knight of Swords, King of Swords at the bottom. Oh gosh, the King of Swords just came back out, so I guess I'll take it. It just fell right back out. The Eight of Pentacles came out. I guess I'm taking them. So, hey. Bottom of the deck is the Five of Swords, the Emperor, and the Ace of Cups. Oh, there's the Emperor. Right? Nos Moritori Salutamus. Nos Moritori Te Salutamus? Nos Moritori Te Salutamus. Four of Wands and the Page of Swords are outside the window. Page of Swords before, Four of Wands after. The Hanged One is here again. The Hanged One has been coming out constantly, but also we've been seeing this halo constantly. Who this? Oh. I am the Knight of Coins. Knight of Coins and the Hanged One around strength. Now, the thing about the manual is that not only must it be read like the Tome of Understanding, but the exercises must be practiced, or the guidelines must be practiced in order for one's strength to increase. Right? And this is a strength that is to be used to take care of others. There's so many cards on the table already. This is like the challenge now because it's from the right deck. The one from the left is a challenge that's already been issued, whether overcome or not. It feels like the King of Swords and the Five of Swords with the Emperor. Oh, the Emperor has it. In a way. Like it's the sun behind the Emperor, but it's a very similar halo-y type thing as that hanged, which we've been seeing behind the characters. We saw it in the Destroyer, we saw it in so many cards. And actually, in the Hanged One in the SKT, they don't have that halo or that glow. The Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Coins, has come out not in this deck. It had to be in the 8-bit Fantasy Tarot as an energy that grows, while Knight of Coins and the King of Pentacles are both here. An energy that grows in, I don't want to say in defiance to, in spite of the procession of death. Because death came out and the Knight of Coins came out, where some things sort of like die or wither or go into a season of dormancy. Other things continue to proliferate. I don't know. I'm not saying this was a mistake, but I ain't been hitting no Oracle juice in. The Hanged One came out in this deck, I believe, as a vision that was seen. So there may be some understanding of purpose here. This could be something as simple as like, regardless, take it if it resonates, as it resonates, take it as it resonates if it resonates, and if it don't resonate, don't take it. And if it does, apply a heaping amount of discernment, because that's the thing here lately. But it's almost like, let's say that there is a narrative and story that is perpetuated by the astrology and by the news. And then there is personal vision. In lieu of, in the absence of, or with the lack of a sufficiently strong personal vision, things kind of sort of like tend to, you could say things tend to whatever narrative is strongest in anyone's life, right? And it's this personal vision of the Hanged One, or a different perspective, that gives the energy a more productive direction. Now you can see how I see. I'm kidding. Let me fix the blur. Um, Also, we've been seeing this pentacle. The pentacle's been moving, and the pentacle moving has felt like the changing of events and circumstances. I don't want to say in the world at large, but I guess I'll say in one's personal life. Maybe with the Eight of Pentacles and the King of Swords, this could be an understanding that, like, the apprentice, the adept, like whatever they're working on, whatever they're doing is an important part to them, not only mastering their craft, but finding their voice. And so there's a certain non interference that the King of Pentacles abides by. That same non interference sort of holding up with the Emperor and the Five of Swords. So this is an energy of, that's almost like, just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean that you should. Or this is recognizing where even if you can do something, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe one shouldn't, even if they can. Interfere, intervene, whatever. And maybe it's because of whatever the experience or feeling of overcoming gives to that person. Maybe it's because their experience gives more. And you could say, I guess, that the hanged one is like letting someone have their own breakthrough, not robbing them of that epiphany moment. Maybe you can guide someone to it. I was just watching a movie where um, there was like an epiphany moment that was central to one of the characters' development. But the epiphany was sort of like theirs to have. It wasn't for anyone to necessarily give to them. And when it comes to being a leader, I assume, I'm not even going to make the assumption. When it comes to being a leader, I assume you have to know who has what capabilities and when it's a time to like develop those capabilities versus when it's a time to like take something over or have someone else take something over. It feels like the Ace of Cups here is an energy of dividends question mark. Like if the Emperor allows something to play to fruition, there will be even more that comes out of something rather than if they were to step in and like do it themselves. And like that's this Ace of Cups. Cool. Um I need a space over here, so I guess I'll put these. I'll do it like this. How about it? Keeping this on the table. Cool. So let's get a place first. Is that the zoo? The zoo and the dentist? Wildlife sanctuary behaviors observed, preventative care future smiles. Behaviors observed and future smiles between these two. I wonder, are there like animal dentists? There have to be, right? If there's an animal in a zoo that suffers any kind of malady, then I'm sure there is a veterinarian or an appropriate specialist that is present to help that animal. All right, one more. Oof. Okay, well, the title card just came out with the ship floating escapade exploring horizons at the bottom of the deck. Am I going to take this? It says moonlit ruins, desert stars, ocean's depths near and far. Cards as doors to lands unseen, mystic mountains, valleys green. Each card unfolds a tale untold of sacred places in bold. In every image, wisdom speaks, guiding seekers to the peaks. We'll say that's for this challenge because it came out and that's what I was asking for. Now for the other challenge, claim flip or claim fall. We just got a very smooth flip of the coffee shop, aromatic brews, solitude, and socializing. This is a place that has people in it. Most of the places don't have people. Bottom of the deck is the arcade, which also has people. Virtual worlds connected, press play. And then the art gallery, which also has people, is behind the arcade. Sanctuary of creativity, quiet reflection. Press play and quiet reflection to me speaks to something that's almost like a life review, but not necessarily. Um, it is reassessing a situation, it's revisiting a situation with the perspective and distance that not a lapse, a gap, a duration of time can afford. I think I'm going to pull just like right off the top. Am I going to do 3 and 3? Actually, I'm going to do war rules. So 3 face down, 1 face up. All pips go in numerical order. Aces are low, pages are high. Kings and queens share the same spot or the same level of priority. Majors share the same level of priority. And a major beats out any minor or court card. So 1, 2, 3 face down, and then 1 face up. And we have the 5 of Swords, which we had before the Emperor. And then we'll do the same here. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 face up. And the Chariot. So the major, of course, beats the minor. The Chariot, reminiscent of the Queen of Wands. The Chariot has been coming out a lot lately. I shouldn't be surprised. I guess it's almost the summer solstice, almost summertime. I guess summer starts on Friday in 3 days or 2. Am I going to? So the Chariot is a boon. Um, Gainful exercise. Let's see. So that kind of makes it easy. So the challenge of the 5 of Swords, I'll read it for you. On the wall next to the exit door, 2 glittering silver words are written, one level with the top of the door frame and one at the bottom. So we have 3 cards. So the card on the left to the card on the right, rather than top and bottom, or bottom and top, respectively. The goal of these puzzles is to create a ladder of words between the top and bottom words by changing one letter at a time to connect the 2 words on the wall. If a creature speaks a 5-letter word that is one letter different from one of the words on the wall, it magically appears on the wall between the top and bottom words. Once the chain of words is complete, the door opens. The door cannot be opened by any other means. So, in the typical, of course it is, in the typical 5 of Swords challenge, you have to connect the word seeks to the word finds. And we had I feel like we were just talking about that, right? Especially with the King of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles. The energy of like, what is one's epiphany to like have, or conclusion to reach your mate. So we could say that seeking takes the position of the Page of Coins. And here she is again. The flowers are swaying, the coin is rotating. The position of finding is the Empress. The wheat is swaying, the leaves are falling. So to go from the page of coins to the Empress, the sort of card, the road in between them is the Magician. Now, this is a magician, unlike the one that we saw in the Wild Unknown Tarot, that was like obsessed with the Suit of Pentacles, pretty much exclusively. Instead of holding on to any one suit, the magician holds on to the wand that allows them to manipulate, quote unquote, the others. Now, what's interesting about this magician is what is interesting but not necessarily unique to this magician. Musician? I feel like that's a thing. I don't think. What was that? I feel like it was like Yu-Gi-Oh for some reason. Music? Maybe. Am I gonna have to use the quotes? I don't know why Gemini just came to mind. I mean, I guess it is Gemini season. What? Music can refer to two distinct concepts: a wearable sensor technology for controlling software and hardware, and a power source in the fictional world of chaotic. In the context of technology, music is a system developed by Mari Kimura that uses motion sensors to control various digital tools and effects. In chaotic, music is a source of power gifted from another dimension that allows creatures to cast spells. What is chaotic? In the chaotic universe. What does that mean? Music is self expressive, reflecting the individual creature's personality and tribe, and can be used for combat or other purposes like construction. Creatures activate music by passing through a heptagon shaped object created by mages. See, musicians, this, I don't know what this chaotic universe is, but this sounds like something that I've heard. Oh well, it's a TV series. Um, what was that? Wearable sensor technology for controlling software and hardware, and also a power source in the fictional world of chaotic. To go from seeks to finds here. So in the page of coins, we see the coin spinning on its own, and we see the coin and the flowers. I want to say peonies, but I'm pretty sure they're not. I mean, I say pretty sure as if I know. Um, the coin spins on its own, and the page of coins is observing them. So somehow the page of coins goes from observing to orchestrating, but not only the coins, but all four elements. And that's what leads them to find in the Empress. And it was that whole like as above thing. So this magician holds the wand, does some kind of energetic or whatever conducting in the as above, and then things move in the as below, right? Because they're pointing to like the below and the as below while they're doing whatever in the as above. The challenge of the Five of Swords is to go from seeking to finding. And I want to say that in that way, it doesn't matter which position the person is in the Five of Swords. I feel like a lot of times, I've said this before, in the past, especially, a lot of times I've heard like a reader talk about the Five of Swords. It was like from the position, it seemed to me like it was from the position of one of these people in the back, of like being defeated, um, running up against insurmountable circumstance or odds, and like being on the defeat side rather than it being this person who like sort of like does way too much. And it's probably because my introduction to tarot was Kim Cran's Water Known Tarot. I don't remember what the book says right now, but I feel like in my own personal practice, as I was learning, it was always from the position of like, you know, um, making sure that the extremes justify the means or vice versa, making sure that you're not doing too much, right? But here it's almost like it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter which perspective it comes from. Rather, someone is facing insurmountable odds, or rather, someone is the unstoppable force. It's sort of the same. I need context for this. I could look before and after the magician. To go from seeking to finding, that could be like a six of swords. It could be a high priestess if the high priestess chooses to divulge or reveal whatever information. Um, it could be the eight of cups. What's a card that like symbolizes an answer received? There's cards of like a wish granted. I don't know off the top of my head. I can't necessarily think of it, so I could just like shuffle, I guess. Maybe I'll do that in a minute. What was the place? Oh, the place here was the title card. Um, let's look at what motivates this chariot energy. I'll read the boon for the chariot first. The left card will be, because it lists two boons, the left card will be the first boon, the right card will be the second boon, and the middle card will be some kind of interplay or emergence between the two of them. Right. So, boons. The boon of the chariot first is the party no longer needs to eat, drink, or sleep to survive. The second one is the party has advantage of on all checks made to resist exhaustion and give me a second, hold up. The oracle just is like starting to kick. Yeah, and the party has advantage on all checks made to resist exhaustion and can recover a level of exhaustion on short rest as well as a long rest. So one of them eliminates the need. Is that permanently? Eliminates the need to eat, drink, or sleep to survive. The second one is it makes them less prone to be exhausted, less prone to be exhausted or suffer the effects of exhaustion, which is like basically the same thing. Inexhaustible. This obviously, not obviously, this makes me think of the audiobook that I'm listening to. As the people increase in rank, they become more magical and less physical. Now, they still need to sleep, but they no longer. Eating doesn't necessarily mean the same as it did before. They can like ingest raw magic basically, or condensed magic, but it's a condensed form of raw magic, which, yeah, that's fine. So they don't need to eat or drink, but they still need to sleep to consolidate things and to like not get weary. They need rest. So the lack of a need for nourishment is the Two of Swords. No longer needing to eat, drink, or sleep is the Two of Swords. The immunity to exhaustion is the Three of Chalices. This is easy. The Three of Chalices symbolizing an immunity to exhaustion is having a really good community, or a community in whatever way, be it physical or spiritual, be it friends, tribe, family, whatever. Um, there's a saying, I think even in the audiobook, there was a saying. It's something that like when many people share a problem, then the burden is reduced. The Two of Swords, in terms of not needing to eat, sleep, or drink, could be one of those like leaning not into one's own understanding, which makes this very interesting. Because what it's clarifying is the Chariot. The card between them that you could say symbolizes a state of both is the Five of Wands. It's interesting that it's the Five of Wands. We've seen the Hierophant, the Five of Wands, and the Five of Swords. Why the Five of Wands, though? 2 plus 3 is 5. Right? We got the Two of Swords on one side, the Five of Chalices on the other, the Five of Wands. The only element that we're missing is Earth. The only number that we're missing is 4. The lowest is 2, the highest is 5, 3 is also here, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could say the Four of Pentacles is missing. And since I pulled cards for the other one, I guess I'll pull before and after the. I'll use the Astral Matrix Tarot to pull before and after the Four of Pentacles. I am going to shuffle it. I got pop music in my head now. I've seen it so much scrolling shorts on YouTube. Talk about pop music. Pop music. And a cut. We have the Empress. Okay. And the Magician. The Empress, the Magician, and the Wheel of Fortune. The Empress and the Magician both came out last time. So instead of the page of coins, because it was the page of coins, the magician, and the empress, instead of the page of coins, we have the wheel of fortune. Interesting. Four of Pentacles. I was like, what am I looking for? Excuse me. This is like, I'm near the top of the deck and I am not seeing this card. Literally the top three cards I looked from the bottom. We have the Five of Cups. Here it's the Five of Wands and the Seven of Wands. So Seven of Wands, Four of Pentacles, Five of Cups. The Five of Cups symbolizing exhaustion, which was the second one. The Seven of Wands symbolizing base survival instinct, food, water, rest. You can extrapolate rest to like shelter. A place that one can like fully rest is a place where they are safe. Right. So this would take us to, if we slot these in here as the missing elements, Two of Swords, Three of Cups, Five of Wands, Seven of Wands, Five of Cups. That would be 12 Wands and 8 Cups. Two Swords, 12 Wands, 8 Cups, 4 Pentacles. So the Two of Swords and the Four of Pentacles would be the lowest. Now 12 is the hanged one, 8 is either strength or justice. Am I leaning one way or another here? Also, I didn't catch that, but this is like the bottom three cards were all major arcana. And this is clarifying the chariot, which is also a major arcana. Now, on the other side, two of the clarifiers were also major arcana. And unlike the other magician, these are very similar in the as above, so below sort of aspects, but the magician here uses the wand, the element of fire, rather than a non aspected instrument like it does here. Here you see all four elements. Hold up, I'm like putting the cards back. Wrong. There we go. We've also seen this Wheel of Fortune recently, just mentioning it. What was the place here? The place here was the coffee shop. Aromatic brews, solitude, and socializing. Aromatics giving me benzene rings. Benzene, which is like not great. Right? Like if I Google benzene, let's see what pops up. Benzene is a chemical compound with the molecular formula C6H6. It is colorless, flammable, It is a colorless, flammable liquid with a sweet gasoline like odor, a natural component of crude oil, and is used in the industrial production of plastics, resins, synthetic fibers, and other chemicals. Benzene is also known as a human carcinogen, meaning it can be very bad for your health. I know all about benzene. I mean, I don't know all about benzene, but I know about benzene. It's colorless or light yellow at room temperature, and also a liquid, primarily used as a solvent in the chemical and pharmaceutical industries, and as a starting material and an intermediate in the synthesis of numerous chemicals and in gasoline. I'm pretty sure if I look up aromatic ring, aromatic rings, also known as aromatic hydrocarbons, are arenes or cyclic planar molecules characterized by delocalized pi electrons within the ring. These compounds exhibit enhanced stability due to this electron delocalization and follow somebody's rule, which requires a specific number of pi electrons, 4n plus 2, where n is an integer. Benzene is the most common example of an aromatic ring. That's how I knew about benzene. It was from like biochem or something. Was that a biochem class? Sure. Yes. It doesn't matter. um, why am I looking at benzene? Oh, aromatic smells. So smells sweet, but is kind of dangerous. Um, I was just talking about radiation with someone that I caught up with recently, and like Marie Curie, right? How when it was like discovered, radioactive metals were like super hip or cool or just like whatever, and then later we discovered like, hey, this is not great. Like being exposed to dangerous amounts of radiation, not necessarily good. Now, how does this play into the coffee shop? Because the chariot is here, and because it's both solitude and socializing. With the Two of Swords, the Five of Wands, and the Three of Cups. The Two of Swords is an ability to navigate these like Five of Wands, Three of Cups environments. Like who slash what is in competition, who slash what is in cooperation. Now, the chariot is inexhaustible and doesn't rely on external resources for its survival. It is harder to exhaust. It has advantage against exhaustion effects. These are the three that I want to put here. These are the three that were at the bottom, so I'll move them over to the side. Now I could pull before and after the cards in the Crow Tarot, which is what I'm going to do. The cards that came out. So I'm going to pull before and after the Five of Swords and the Chariot, Hermit, Temperance, and the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. There's that Hermit energy again. Excuse me. Who am I looking for? Five of Swords and the Chariots. Some are at the top, some are at the bottom. Oh, there's the chariot. We have the 8 of coins again, and the 9 of swords. And then I'm looking for the 5 of swords. I say top and bottom because of where you have to look on the cards. Looks like just the court cards don't have a number. Strength, of course, because why not? Tempered Strength actually came out recently. So we have the Queen of Cups, the 5 of Swords, and the Strength card. Excuse me, the lion has me like yawning. Now, what's interesting about this Queen of Cups is it looks like her throne is underwater. In most Queen of Cups cards I've seen, she's like at the terminus of the water, at like the edge where the sand meets the shore. This 5 of Swords was to connect seeking and finding. At the Page of Coins, it notices things that shift, change, evolve, move in the world around them or in their own lives, seemingly animated, changes motivated by higher forces. At the Magician, it is conducting, coordinating, moving, participating in the movement of these higher forces that results in a change in lower ones, and does so to nurture something or to make the world or palatable, not palatable, um, to make the world more capable of hosting something. Because the Empress gives birth to the thing, but the thing is born into the world. Now, the whole thing with the King of Pentacles was someone learning to use their strength for others, to be a true leader. Also, yeah, the Strength card is here. We saw the Queen of Wands with 2 lions, and then here's like one in the Strength card. But it's with the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Wands, you could say, moves for her own purposes. You could say she moves for her own purposes. The Queen of Cups is at least capable of considering others because she's the Queen of Cups. She's like the emotional, intuitive one. She's pre High Priestess. Now, this is one of those things. I don't know if it matters, but especially between the with the cards that are on the table. And I guess you could say the 5 of Wands is like not only is it noticing a certain amount of hostility in the world, but it's also a way of like navigating it, which is kind of sort of like my way or the highway. It seeks to overwrite or overrule a circumstance, but at the same level that the decisions are made. Not necessarily. Doesn't necessarily have to be. But the magician escalates it, right? The magician doesn't argue with the representative on the phone. The magician takes it to the manager, takes it to corporate, right? It leverages its weight with slash at the proper authority or person with that authority, right? Someone at the bottom of the rung, someone who doesn't make the choices and decisions of the company, someone that can't influence policy, there is a certain range that they're working within, right? Now, people who actually make the decisions, those are the ones who have the power to like change them. You can say people at the bottom have the choice to enforce it or not, sure. But it's like going to whoever slash whatever is capable. And maybe that's why the Five of Swords is here in the bullying sort of vein of the Five of Swords is interpretation, right? It doesn't make sense to make um, someone who's at the bottom of the rungs, like to make them miserable or to like ruin their day. Because again, they're not making the choices or decisions. They're just like informing a policy. They don't have the chance or choice to change it. And then we move over to the chariot, where there's a difference in scope here, too. And maybe part of that was in the magician. In like seeking a higher authority, right? Instead of talking to the representative on the phone, you talk to a manager, a supervisor, or someone in the C suite. And I say that because to go from the Five of Swords to the Chariot, especially, no, I say that because of the Wheel of Fortune. Sorry. The Wheel of Fortune with the Magician and the Empress rather than the Page of Coins, the Magician and the Empress. When we went from, I keep want to say Tarot Apocalypsis, when we went from the Fable Makers to the Crow Tarot. These were the bottom three cards. And I shuffled it. The Wheel of Fortune sees like the bigger picture, like the cycles within the cycles within the cycles, rather than just like the pentacle. Who did we see with the Eight of Coins? It was the King of Swords and the Eight of Coins that we saw before. Now we have the Nine of Swords and the Eight of Coins. What I can appreciate about the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Swords and the Eight of Coins as a combination, especially with the Chariot and like coming off of this or going with this energy, is it's an energy of like someone who, it's like when you realize or recognize that the problem is greater. I almost wanted to say better, but that wouldn't be the right word. The problem is worse than like one would think, or the actual decision is being made at a level that is above what one would think. Now, there's already the practice of at least engaging those higher levels orders of thinking with the magician and the empress, but like the nine of swords and the eight of coins is to continue doing the work despite a potential sense of like despondency. or I just had the word and it slipped my mind. Like, it doesn't give in to the sense of hopelessness. It continues, like, despite those things. And maybe that too is the Seven of Wands and the Five of Cups. There's an energy here of not ignoring. All right, so I have attempted to recover the live. I don't know if it's worked or not. I guess I can get back on my phone and check. Yeah, it's fine. We're just gonna skip right to final cards, I guess. Final cards, I guess. Yeah, I'm back. Okay, cool. Love that. Love that for me. Um, whatever was skipped or missed was missed for a reason. I'm just going to do this so that I can refresh, refocus the video real quick if need be. Um, yeah, whatever we discover with the Five of Swords energy, the Eight of Pentacles energy is ours to discover. I kind of love the word discover. Because, like, if a cover is a shroud that veils something, to discover something is to, like, discover it, to remove the cover, to remove the veil, and to see what lies beneath. So, in that way, who is this? The alleyway? Hidden pathway shortcuts revealed. Love that energy. As we're talking about discovering things. Because then I feel like it's less of a, like, you know, finding something that was already found, and more of a just like to whoever, removing a certain veil of ignorance, I guess you could say, to not know of something and then to know, right? It doesn't necessarily imply a greater novelty than to those who weren't in the know. Like unveiling. I'm putting all the cards away. I could do the timestamp, but after this is finished, I don't know if it's like this 130, 140 is like the total running time, including when I was having connection issues. So I feel like if I timestamp 140 and then I end the live and it consolidates it, like the time may not necessarily be the same. What happened to the Nos Moritori? Nos Moritori. I feel like now I say it with like a Japanese almost enunciation. Moritori. Moritori. I know Tori is like a bird. I don't know what Mori would be. Moritori. Let's try Mori Japanese. Mori sushi. What does Mori mean in Japanese? Forest. Variously written, but most often forest, and denoting the sacred grove around a Shinto shrine. So the birds in the sacred grove around a Shinto shrine. Nos is like we. So we the birds that inhabit the sacred shrine salute you. Which is interesting because there was the bird on the coin this time. Tails, instead of it being three wands, was a bird. A bird. That's oh, I mixed these, didn't I? I'm gonna put the left ones in the right one, and the right one in the left one. The right ones in the left one. Birds are can be messengers, denizens of the air. Is that the six of five of wands? Five of wands and the seven of cups. We the birds of the sacred shrine salute. We the birds of the sacred grove salute you. Moritori. Who are these birds? I could. No, that's too much. I have with the wild unknown, with the four Kims, I have the boxes in their boxes. So I would have to take the box out of the box out of the box to get to the cards. It's too much. The tower and the eight of chalices. We actually saw the tower and the eight of chalices. It may have been Libra season to Scorpio season last year. The tower was falling, but the eight of cups had already left the tower. We saw both the fool in the tower and the eight of cups in the tower. Both of them had already evacuated the tower before whatever is to fall had fallen. Nos Mori. I think it's Mori Turi and not Tori. Nos Mori Turi. Te salutamus. Not Mori Tori. I don't know what Turi is in Japanese. So. Moritori. I feel like I should have known that Mori was forest. I think I didn't know that. Because of my last name. The bus stop. All right. We're going to get a place first. So let me timestamp. I almost don't want to timestamp because I'm pretty sure they're not going to be right. Final cards. We'll do 144.50. All right. Claim flipper, claim fall. And maybe that's the thing too. Because it's resurfaced recently. The whole like if we use external reality or how things change in our lives as a gauge for what we do, what we believe, or how we work internally, then there may be kind of a false correlation. And so maybe that's why with the seven, which was the chariot, I almost wanted to say seven of pentacles, but with the chariot where we saw the nine of swords and the eight of pentacles, to like, despite how one feels or what's going on, to continue, keep. I started to say continue, but then my brain said keep. To continue doing the work anyway. Yeah. Library. Wisdom's treasury, expansion, and learning. At the bottom of the deck. All right. Claim flip or claim fall. Final card from the Places Oracle. Oh, that was a fall. Is it somebody new? No. The living room and the home. Living room, heart of the home, comfort and relaxation. Home, personal sanctuary, security and belonging. So we have the home and the heart of the home. The heart of one's personal sanctuary. Security, belonging, comfort, and relaxation. We actually saw belonging. I feel like it's number 41 in the Whispers of Lord Ganesha, but it may not be. I can check real quick. Just because I'm curious. If it actually is 41, I'm gonna like lose my mind. I'm pretty sure it's not. But we just saw belonging in the Whispers of Lord Ganesha. I'm sure. It may be like 26 or something. Belonging is number 41. Let's go. It's on page 72. Belonging. Learn to find security from within. Learning to find security from within. And again, it's coming off the back of that whole like not needing or despite external validation or conformity um, to keep doing the work anyway. I don't know if that's like related to like a threshold, if it's related to timing, but there has been the energy of what is fated. What is fated to be will be, but the outcome isn't necessarily set in stone. So again, the home and the heart of the home. Bottom of the deck is post office, mail service, messages to arrive. You can, maybe within certain circumstances, maybe within certain limitations. It's like it makes me think of like how you can leave a letter to like be picked up by the USPS mail carrier at your home. Like usually they deliver, but if you have something, if it has the proper postage, then they'll also pick up. And to be like at the heart of one's home and to get this messages to arrive. Well, I guess messages arrive to one's home if their address is their home, right? Now, if you have something to be, if you set something to be delivered elsewhere, then that's wherever it's going to be delivered. And it's not COD necessarily, cash on delivery. It could be something that requires a signature. And if it requires a signature, especially a certain person's signature, someone has to be home to sign for it. And with the charioteer, navigating the chariot by sheer force of will. We already saw the magician and the empress clarifying that Five of Swords. The magician being a reliance on a higher power, higher authority, going to where decisions are actually made rather than at a base level where they're sort of enforced or carried out. Um, the charioteer can like remotely navigate something. That was the other meaning of music, right? It was the remote sensor or something like that. Or was it on the computer? Music. A wearable sensor technology for controlling software and hardware. A gesture-based interface that allows users to control software, lighting, visuals, and other digital elements through their movements. To control something through one's movement. And again, like from the page of coins to the magician to the empress, that's what someone was like. I don't know if I communicated it, but like that's kind of the energy that the chariot had, like through one's own movement. That was the elimination of external sustenance. Like it doesn't need food, drink, or sleep, especially food or drink. And it's nearly inexhaustible. Cool. Countryside, peaceful farmland, horizons wide. That would be one's own internal horizons, which speaks to the whole second interface between the internal and external, or what have you. So there's this one. Let's put the Crow Tarot away next. I'm like, what is chaotic? Like, I feel like that checks out with what I was thinking with like music and musicians. But I'm like, I don't remember chaotic. I don't know. The King of Swords. I'm gonna put him back. King of Swords, Saturn just came out again. We saw the King of Swords with the Eight of Coins. We just saw the Eight of Coins with the Nine of Swords. So to go from the Nine to the King is to, you could almost say that there's the anxiety or the late nights of the Nine of Swords is emotionally based, but not necessarily emotion in a watery way. So rather than having a feeling that is in response to an ongoing or current situation, the Knight of Swords could be a feeling in response to an anticipated situation. So, like to feel something before it has necessarily come to be or come to pass. Now, if you, with the King of Swords, take the emotion out of it, then it can still be an energy of anticipation, but not necessarily one that has such negative consequence or connotation. All right, final Crow Tarot card. I've only used this deck like a handful of times. That was like the cleanest flip ever. The King of Swords just flipped right back over. So just like in the Astro Matrix Tarot where the King of Swords fell out and I put him back and he came right back out. It's the King of Swords again. But this time the King of Swords has Saturn on it. I don't know why I'm looking from the bottom of the deck to see if anything else flipped over. The Eight of Pentacles and the Hierophant. Eight of Pentacles, Hierophant, and the Magician are the bottom three cards. The Hierophant and the Magician, just like the Astral Matrix Tarot, this Magician holds on to the wand. Unlike the Fable Maker's Animated Tarot, but like the Astral Matrix Tarot. Excuse me. I don't know. The Hierophant now with the Eight of Pentacles, the scripture question mark of like God will never leave you nor forsake you, just like came to mind. Or is it Jesus? The phrase God will never leave you nor forsake you was a powerful biblical promise found in Hebrews 13 and 5 and Deuteronomy 31 and 6. Interesting, the 31:13 sort of mirror. Assuring believers of God's constant presence and support, it signifies that God will not abandon or desert them, providing comfort and strength in times of need. God speaking to Moses and the Israelites. Well, we know that they eventually made it to the promised land, but they did wander for like 40 years. So that promise had to be made before whatever went down that caused that 40-year delay. And true to his word, he didn't leave or forsake them, but they 40 years they was wandering. Oh, let me put this back first. Should I read the King of Swords? I don't know if I've read this book necessarily. Oh, this one counts down. King of Swords is a strategic and logical crow using methodical steps and processes. He is the one who figures out positive solutions that benefit the group. His strength and poise set him apart from the flock. So, figuring out positive solutions that benefit the group, a strength and poise that sets him apart. This bird is comfortable in the role of leader, but is not power hungry. The energy of the King of Swords will bring a prudent and clear vision of success to the situation. The king may enter as a trusted advisor or may indicate that you are a source of reliable information that will benefit others. Upright, the King of Swords is recognized for his ability to handle situations with calming energy. This is interesting because the Archmage of Earth, Archmage of Coins, King of Coins, that challenge involved one receiving the manual of gainful exercise to use one's strength for others. And this reading, this meaning, sort of like aligns with that. Although this bird is comfortable in the role of the leader, they're not power hungry. Interesting. You hear that? The beep 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 beep. All right, next let's put the Astral Matrix Tarot away, which probably should have been first. Page of Swords and the Three of Coins. Now, as I look at this, the Page of Swords is looking away from the Three of Coins. Now, we saw the Page of Swords looking at the Page of Coins. Also in this deck, this Three of Coins was a group of people approximating the design of the Ace of Cups, but they had the Ace of Cups inverted. So it wasn't a vessel capable of receiving, and because it can't receive, there's nothing to distribute in the overflow. All right, final card from the Astro Matrix Tarot. We just got a flip. It was clean enough. It's a few cards, 3 cards. It's that King of... Oh, okay. I was literally going to say, like, we've seen the Emperor, the King of Coins, and the King of Swords. We didn't see the King of Cups or the King of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Swords, which was actually the final card the last time I used the Crow Tarot. But we see the King of Cups now, the Fool, the King of Coins, and the King of Cups. And both of these kings are looking at the Fool, are facing the direction of the Fool. Now, this King of Cups, unlike the King of Cups in the 8-bit Fantasy Tarot, does not have the scepter, or I feel like it's like the Orb of Dominion, but maybe not. We see it in the King of Pentacles, but not the King of Cups in this deck. This is the Fool Reborn. Five of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, Ten of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Not Judgment. The Tower is behind this Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Wands is behind that, again with the fives. I feel like this kind of came out. It was with the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles and whatever the other cards were, where it was the energy of whichever narrative is the strongest is the one that things will tend towards. The King of Coins and the King of Cups both see the Fool because of whatever narrative is the strongest for them. And then we see the Ten of Swords with the Eight of Swords and the Five of Pentacles because of whatever narrative is strongest here. With the Five of Pentacles being left out in the cold and the Eight of Swords feeling it's like not seeing a different way or a better way, then of course the natural outcome is the Ten of Swords. So we have strength that surprises, strength that surpasses human strength, and wisdom that surpasses human wisdom, with the gifts of the Archmages of Coins and Water. The Archmage of Coins gives the Manual of Gainful Exercise for a strength that is for others. The Archmage of Cups gives the Tome of Understanding for the one who asks considerably thoughtful questions. The Boon of the Fool is something entirely new and unknown to the world is created. The next major undertaking the party embarks on will have an auspicious start. So, something entirely new and unknown to the world and an auspicious start to the next major undertaking. Something new and unknown to the world is not surprising. When not only does one have a wisdom that has the power to transcend human limitation, but also the strength. This new and unknown boon, we haven't seen the Page of Wands today. Excuse me, but I'm pretty sure that was we've seen the Page of Wands recently. And I mentioned that that's the deck dungeon challenge of the Page of Wands. Like they say that there's nothing new under the sun. In the Bible, it says there's nothing new under the sun. I just heard that this saying, like, those who don't learn from their histories are doomed to repeat it. What was that? They were like, yeah, that's why they're rebooting this other thing or something like that. I was like, yeah, that's why they rebooted this. Those who don't learn from their history are doomed to repeat it. There's nothing new under the sun. The phrase "there is nothing new under the sun" is a well known idiom expressing the idea that despite changes in technology and culture, human nature and basic experiences remain fundamentally the same throughout history. It suggests that everything that happens now has happened before, and there's a cyclical nature to life. The phrase comes from Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. Well, give me Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. I thought it was Ecclesiastics. I guess it's Ecclesiastes. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Let's read the full chapter. Let's go to KJV. I gotta go to the KJV. You know, the New International Version is fine, I'm sure, but I was raised on the KJV, King James Version. Okay. I'm just, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 1. The words, verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1 to at least chapter 1, verse 9. I'm just going to read it for context because I never knew the context outside of the phrase. The words of the teacher, son of David, king in Jerusalem. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless, everything is meaningless. What do people gain from all their labors at which they toil under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north. Round and round it goes, ever returning on its course. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To the place the streams come from, there they return again. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear its fill of hearing. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which one can say, look, this is something new? It has here, it was here already long ago. It was here before our time. No one remembers the former generations, and even those yet to come will not be remembered by those who follow them. It's interesting how much this mentions wisdom. But again, with the King of Cups and the Tome of Understanding, the Tome of Understanding gives a wisdom that surpasses human understanding. But it is granted to one who asks meaningful questions. Now, the Page of Wands, the challenge of the Page of Wands is the room of the Page of Wands is filled with games. They are bubbly and curious. They ask to be taught a new game in exchange for opening the door. If they enjoy the new game, they offer a bag of beans as a gift. Bloomin' Rose, hey, what's up? How you doing? I don't know how long ago you sent that. Sorry, I was in another window. um, through wisdom and a strength that serves others, something new is found. And maybe that's the difference. Maybe throughout history or for so long, people have been self serving, or maybe more so than self serving. people have prioritized their own gain over the well-being of others, not necessarily realizing the interplay of another's well-being with one's own. Ten of Swords, Eight of Swords, Five of Pentacles. And then the Tower strikes over and over and over again. But that's changing, right? Hopefully. So it was more a statement. It's almost like it was more of an observation than who what was that? It was more of an observation than a declaration. Oh, that was the top. It's time for something new. And maybe that too, with that Nine of Swords, with the Eight of Pentacles, is to keep working towards something, even if it looks like, ooh, the world and the Five of Coins. There's that Five of Pentacles again. Oh. There's the Five of Under the World is the High Priestess. So, kind of love that. There's that Five of Coins again, but this time it's like the whole world rather than it being like the Page of Coins or the Ace of Coins. All right. Clean flip or clean fall from this side, this half of the deck. How art thou? Oh my god, I need to get to Australia. Oop. I need a lot of things. I need a hero. Oop. That was like a clean flip into a slide. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Swords, which we've already seen. The Page of Coins, the King of Chalices, and the Ten of Coins. We literally just saw the King of Cups. But this time the King of Cups is in between the Page of Coins and the Ten of Coins. What's interesting is we see two white dogs in the King of Coins. We also saw the white dog in the Fool. Under the Eight of Swords is Temperance. Oh my gosh. And under that is the Five of Coins. We literally just saw the Five of Coins and the Eight of Swords. But now we have Temperance here to balance out these two energies. The Ten of Cups is under the Five of Coins. Here, unlike the Astral Matrix Tarot, we see the King of Cups that also has the Staff of Dominion, the Orb of Dominion, whatever that thing is. Is this ancestral? There's the older person in the foreground with two white dogs. And then there are younger people in the background that are setting out for a new path or a path. We did just see the world card with the Five of Cups. Or was it the world and the Five of Pentacles that we just saw? There is an energy here of like some old cycle being completed. But it's the past that leads someone there. There's nothing new under the sun. So you could say, like, up until a certain point, people or humanity typically make or makes, people make, humanity makes the same choice or decision. But the white dog that is a messenger or a guide from this ancestor like energy actually leads them to the cliff to do what wasn't done before, which gives this King of Chalices an orb of dominion that it didn't have in the Astral Matrix Tarot that we just saw. And it's like that's what gets this coin to spin in like a new direction or in a different way. Now, the other half of the deck, Seven of Chalices at the bottom with the Ace of Coins at the cut. Love that. And again, like, there is a remoteness to this energy with the Chariot and with the heart of the home and the home. With the inexhaustibility and the relative inexhaustibility and the internally sustaining internal sustenance of the boon of the Chariot. It's from a different place. It makes me think of, it brings to mind a throne. It's like there's a spaceship, but there's a throne in the spaceship, and the flight controls are like a part of the throne. Like if a certain butt isn't within that seat, then like nothing moves. That's what it brings to mind, at least. Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. We just saw the Ace of Cups in. We just saw the Ace of Cups in the Astral Matrix Tarot, and that's another Ace of Cups that was floating above the surface. But what we didn't see in the Astral Matrix Tarot was the hand that supports that Ace of Cups. So in the Astral Matrix Tarot, it was like a force, like the force of the water that overflows, that causes this cup to like elevate. This unseen hand almost feels like it's the hand of the magician. Like it is, but it isn't. It's related to the magician. Whatever the magician is doing in the as above that caused the elements to rotate or to wiggle below, this is a manifestation of that. Is it Mage Hand? Oh, Eight of Wands with the Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck. And Two of Cups, Page of Swords, and the King of Coins. There's the King of Coins again. And in this deck, again, he holds the Orb of Dominion. So both the King of Cups and the King of Chalices have that Orb of Dominion. Eight of Wands came out. There's like this energy around the wands. There's also the two snakes coiled around the caduceus. The vines that are moving in the King of Coins. You see in the King of Coins, like the vines down here are like moving. We see the sun moving or shining and the two of chalices. Something about those feels like it corresponds to the energy that moves along the wands and the Eight of Wands. The two snakes give a chariot like energy where it's like both things have to be activated online and in some kind of harmonious movement in order for the wands to have that energy. And maybe it goes back to the manual of gainful practice. Not only is it about learning certain exercises, but those exercises must also be done, right? Like, what did it say? Oh, wow. Do I got to go back? Probably have to go back.